Greetings to you all. I thought today what I would do is just go over some of the things that we've talked about since the very beginning of this, and I don't have anything written down here, so I'm going to miss a lot of things. But some of the things that we can do to help ourselves out, especially in times of real struggle, our brain just keeps spinning and spinning out of control all the time. There are a few things you can do. Number one, breathe. Follow the breath. Be in the moment. Know that God is with you all the time. You breathe in the breath of God, the Holy Spirit, and let that Holy Spirit take your life and organize it. That's what the Spirit does. Way back in Genesis 1, He takes the chaos of this newly formed stuff that God did and organized it. So let the Holy Spirit alive in your life. The other thing we can do is, many of us, and I've discovered that I am not the only person that thinks in words, but there are a lot of people who think in images. Frankly, those images are a better way to go. We can have the same conversation in our head over and over and over again. We don't get anywhere with it. It just starts to work on our souls, our emotions, our bodies, and it just bugs us. Start to think about things where you like to be. A very, very special place. And I remember the last time I did this, I said I was on one of the rocky North Shore beaches of Lake Superior, and I talked to Gwen afterwards, and I discovered that's where she was too. We all have our holy places, our sacred places. Go there and just relax there. Sometimes I pretend I don't have a special place that I'm thinking about, but I'm just sitting in very, very tall grass with a breeze going around me. There are no bugs there. There just aren't. So that's the good thing. But there are things like that you can do. So breathe. Visual imaging. Get rid of all the words as much as you can out of your minds. What is the emotion attached to what you are thinking? Find that in your body. And trust me, you're not just going to go, oh, it's there. It doesn't work that way. You got to keep working on this. Where does fear reside in my body? Where does stress, where does hate enter your body? Where does it reside? Breathe into those things. Can you tell the breath is the major thing? And now we come into this with stress, with fear, with this feeling of, who am I? Am I even worth anything anymore? We come with this with all sorts of negativity. And now we're just supposed to change all of that. You don't try to change it, but you do try to live right now, in that moment, for as little as 5 minutes. Even half a minute of breath helps, all the way up to 20 minutes. What that does is it gives you an opportunity to know that everything that you are thinking is merely a thought. It does not define who you are. You decide if it defines who you are. And that too is a frustration. So here's what I'm saying. Accept everything in your life. But you decide what's going to define it. And know this, your thoughts don't define you. You will notice the more and more that you do this, thoughts are just thoughts. They're like a cloud. They show up. Sometimes they turn into a storm and they will just beat you. But they vanish. Sometimes they make an impact on us, sometimes they don't. You can make that choice. The other thing that we have to think about always, I've said this before, that we as Lutherans hang on to every single word that Jesus Christ ever said to us. And we think about Jesus all the time. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. If we're guilty of anything, that's a good thing to be guilty of. But don't forget about the work of the Holy Spirit. We're going to be entering a time here now called Pentecost, and actually that is a time of the Spirit moving in and out of our lives. Count on Him. Or her. Ruach. The Hebrew word for spirit is actually feminine. So when you talk to a Jewish person, they're always talking about she when it comes to Holy Spirit. Let that Holy Spirit into your life and enjoy knowing that with this Holy Spirit, new life is possible. And so today, keep all of that stuff in your mind. And remember this too. Some thoughts just don't want to go away. Yesterday was a good example of that, where we just said, okay, we're going to give this thought 5 minutes of our time. And when that 5 minutes is up, we're done. We've given it our time. And now we have our life to live. Easily said. Yes, it comes back. It will haunt you again and again and again. But you also have, I'm going to say, the armor of God against this thought. That God does not want you to live a life based on your thoughts. He wants to give you the life that He meant to give to you. And those are two different things. So, keep all of that in your mind, a short rehash. Hopefully that will help you next week when I'm gone, assuming I'm gone. And today I'm going to do kind of a quick run through of this, I don't know what you call it, to breathe in the breath of God, breathe out, all this other stuff. Set your bodies up, feet on the floor, contacts. Quick body scan. What is your emotion right now? Does that emotion seems somehow attached to a stress point that you found in your body, be aware of it. Don't just automatically say yes, just be aware of that. Breathe. Follow the in-breath. Follow the out-breath. Be curious. Follow the in-breath. Is it different than the earlier one? Follow the out-breath. How is that one different? Every breath is different. Be curious about it. What makes each breath different? Breathe in the breath of God. Breathe out your cares and concerns. What does it feel like when you breathe in the love of God? What does it feel like to breathe out your doubts and despairs? What's the texture like when you breathe in the life of God? What is the texture like when you breathe out your fears and your frustrations? We sit quietly before the one who gives life and love to all creation. We sit in awe of the one who formed us in our mother's wombs. And we sit at peace, surrounded by the one who fills every fiber of our being. What does it smell like to breathe in the breath of God? What is the smell when you breathe out the tensions and turmoil of your life? What kind of a sound do you hear when you breathe in the love of God? What kind of a sound do you hear when you breathe out your haste, your hurry? Finally, how does your life look when you breathe in the life of God? What does your life look like when you breathe out your work and your worry? We sit quietly before the one who gives life and love to all creation. We sit in awe of the one who formed us in our mother's wombs. We sit at peace, surrounded by the one who fills every fiber of our being. Be curious as you breathe in the breath of God. Be curious about what it's like to breathe out the gunk of your life. Your mind has probably wandered. Don't beat yourself up. It's what the mind is supposed to do. We are just trying to control it a little bit more each and every day. To try to fight this in 1 second, you are fighting against thousands of years of development. You're not going to win this in a second. Be at peace and know you have touched God in a millisecond. Seriously, good job. Do not be harsh on yourself. Do not judge yourself. Do not judge, period. Keep breathing. If you want, and only if you want, you can start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, your body. You can open up your eyes. If you want, you decide when you're ready to come out of this. I have to leave, but God says to you and to me, peace be with you. My peace I give to you.